tackle exposed for just a second. And what is Bowman able to do? What he's done all match. Grab it, pull him forward, and get him onto his stomach for 3 points.
Now we move ahead to the 184 bout. As only 3 are left to go here, it's a 4-point duel between the Purdue Boilermakers and the Army West Point Black Knights. As here at 184, we will see Cole Karpinski, the junior, take on the redshirt sophomore in James Rowley, who is also, again, ranked right under that top 30, as 29th right now. He's listed 4-1 going into today. But Rowley was victorious by decision earlier today at 184 against Marcus Petit of UB in what was essentially the closest fought match of that first duel today, as Petit took that 1-point lead, the first one of the day, into that third period. Then Rowley was able to earn the escape in the beginning of period number 3, and then a late takedown with under a minute to go to eventually earn himself the advantage. Here, a minute and 15 into the first period at 184 between Purdue and Army. We'll see if Karpinski can end what seems like a little winning streak here for Rowley.
Well, Vinny, interesting enough, Purdue, as we've said all day, talked about being aggressive first, and James Rowley has got that message here as he scored first 5 times this period in his 5 matches. That's time for the T lead with Matt Ramos, Isaiah Quintero, Alston Jackson, Stoney Buell. Vinny, if he can get around here, that'll make it now 6 times. Entering today, he scored first this season, keeping him at pace with the rest of his Boilermaker teammates.
He's trying to flip Karpinski around, and he's able to get that right arm away. Now they flip it, and indeed, Rowley able to get the first 3 points with the takedown. And his head coach said that this is a guy who's got the talent. His skill set is high, and he's now in the rankings. And he said that with a bit of emphasis to say that he maybe should have been already, but he is getting the results tangibly that he has worked for. And we'll see that high skill set on display here against Karpinski from the Black Knights. Karpinski 5-3 and 1-0 in duels this season, as he will start from the down position, as Rowley will address him from the top here with 41 seconds left to go in this first period here at 184. A 4-point matchup here we have between Purdue and Army. And it was close last year. We mentioned it was 21-16 in favor of the Boilermakers. Army trying to change that, of course. And while they have the advantage right now, Purdue, a couple of very talented wrestlers left in their lineup. And right now, Rowley, of course, one of the ranked ones going into today's contest.
Well, after this match, we'll start here. Each team has 1 ranked wrestler left right now in the top 30 of their division. Rowley going right now. Army will most likely have Austin Kohlhofer up next, number 33 at 197 in the country. So each team's got 1 rank left. If it comes down to the heavyweight bout, we'll see what happens as we go there. But, Vinny, just something interesting to note here as we move to the second period. Rowley, before his match today against Petit, as we saw, his only other dual meet match was a fall at the 440 mark against Brixton Burgess of Gardner-Webb earlier this month.
Both teams are going to take a quick second here as a little bit of medical attention being paid on the far side of the floor here to Cole Karpinski. The junior just getting that right hand addressed, it looks like. And we mentioned that these two teams wrestled against one another last year, and at this 184, it was at the time number 25 Ben Paziak getting the advantage over Rowley, who was number 33 at the time, and that was a 9-8 decision. That was one of 2 in a row, because the 174 match was won by Bowman last year in the third over Gunnar Filipowicz, 9-8 as well. And that third period saw 3 lane changes in a minute of time. So that was maybe a little bit of foreshadowing to what we have already seen here. It was just a 3-point win at 174 for Purdue and Bowman. And now, going into this match thinking, all right, we've been able to see that back and forth before. To give a little bit of foreshadowing as well, going ahead looking at 197, for example, Ben Venadia won at 197 last season via technical fall against Dan Lawrence. That was at 6:28, so close to that 7-minute margin, but not all the way there. He had just moved up from 184 to 197. We expect to see Venadia as well at 197 for Purdue. Meanwhile, on the other side of things, 285 was won by the Black Knights. Lucas Stoddard over Tristan Ruhlman by a 6-0 margin. So just back and forth points were earned last year, and while we've already seen a little bit of a change in some of the history, these teams earning points in not every facet that they did last year. Of course, there was the similarity where, right off the bat, Matt Ramos goes out and gets the technical fall, but Bergen gets the win, and then Basil gets the win, Trey McDaniel gets the pin, and then Blaze, of course, with that major decision to bring Purdue right back into things, a good couple minutes ago now, as we sit at 3-1 here, 45 seconds into that second period. Rowley and Karpinski still doing battle here at 184. And it is a nice dive at the legs, and Rowley is able to earn himself 3 more points on a nice takedown as he looks to get the Boilermakers right back into this thing with under a minute to go here in this second frame.
And Rowley does a great job at staying low and reading the situation. He doesn't try to be more aggressive with a double leg. He doesn't try to be a bit more aggressive and go for maybe a harder takedown. He saw what he could do, low-level single takedown, and he's got him there now. Now, interesting enough, Karpinski does have a bit of a base he's building. He's got that right leg free. But if I'm Rowley, I'm knocking down that leg, and I'm driving him down. It's like what I said earlier. You want to just slowly knead him down, get him flat, and if you can just keep him there and hold him there for a minute, for about 20 seconds, you enter the second period with your riding time above the 2-minute mark.
Well, it's almost there right now, as now 2 minutes has eclipsed for Rowley. Just had to wait an extra second there. So 6-1 the score as we approach the end of that second period. And indeed, Rowley, meanwhile, has racked up over 2 minutes of riding time, which would, in theory, if he's able to keep that up at that margin, which based on how he's wrestled, he certainly would be able to do, is going to give him a bonus point here. As we take another look at Rowley's most recent 3-point takedown here, as he's able to very quickly wrap up the legs right at the ankles of Karpinski, and then put himself on top where he started racking up those riding time points.
And that's what I'm talking about. It wasn't flashy. It was just a classic low leg, double leg takedown. He got low. He saw the moment, grabbed both his legs, and let him flatten out. Nothing flashy. It gets the job done. But if you're Rowley now, you're starting on bottom. As he's going to roll out of that, nearly gets the escape. Instead, he's going to stand up, take the escape point. You're up 7-1. You need 2 more points. You have to go for a takedown. And at that point, just keep Karpinski flat to tie this match if you want to be the hero right now.
Rowley, the redshirt sophomore out of Corvallis, Oregon, taking on Karpinski, the junior out of Greenville, Pennsylvania. Now right at the legs once more is Rowley. Karpinski up in the air here, not at all touching the ground. We'll see how Rowley handles this one. As you mentioned a couple times, being perpendicular is a key to some success here. Right now, pretty parallel will indeed move them to a stalemate, and they will go right back to a neutral position in the middle of the floor. Here, just about 40 seconds into that third period. 184-pound division between Rowley and Karpinski. The third last bout of this duel between Purdue and Army. Nice move there by Rowley to move around. That's another takedown and another 3 points. And right now he gets right to that threshold you want, as a win by 8 or more points would give them 4 and would effectively tie this matchup between Purdue and Army. Right now, still 50 seconds left to go to see if Karpinski can eat back into that lead.
So, Vinny, if I'm Rowley, I'm not letting him stand up. Look at what he's doing. He's keeping his ankles, and he's putting his body weight on the top of his head, on his neck, the top of his chest. It's going to cut him loose here, but it's like I said, he's got his number. Would I have let him up? Personally, no. I'm keeping him down. I don't want to even risk the chance he gets a takedown on me, and I lose this major decision that I'm holding right now, because the riding time's locked up. If I'm Rowley, either fight neutral, or if you can get another low leg. Karpinski has not done a good job at defending his right leg. He's defending his left leg well. He's leaving that right leg exposed. Right there, we see it again. He's got his right leg.
So now a point has been earned by Rowley at that time. And so while he does have both legs in the meanwhile, it's a non-point advantage for Rowley, who has Karpinski draped over his back, but in a bit of a vulnerable position. Now they flip things around, and a great counter by Rowley extends his lead And now 12 is the advantage. It's going to be 13 as the clock stops, and that riding time is going to help him earn a 15-2 advantage at 184 as we take a look at this last and perhaps most impressive and confident move from Rowley.
Now, Vinny, look at this. He's got Karpinski